Joseph was unable to restrain himself any longer, standing before so many. Therefore, he instructed that all should go outside, and that no stranger should be among them as they recognized one another. And he lifted up his voice with weeping, which the Egyptians heard, along with the entire house of Pharaoh. And he said to his brothers, I am Joseph. Is my father still alive? His brothers were unable to respond, being terrified by a very great fear. And he said to them mildly, Approach toward me. And when they had approached close by, he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. Do not be afraid, and let it not seem to you to be a hardship that you sold me into these regions. For God sent me before you into Egypt for your salvation. For it is 2 years since the famine began to be upon the land, and 5 years more remain, in which there can be neither plowing nor reaping. And God sent me ahead, so that you may be preserved upon the earth, and so that you would be able to have food in order to live. I was sent here not by your counsel, but by the will of God. He has caused me to be like a father to Pharaoh, and to be the lord of his entire house, as well as governor throughout all the land of Egypt. Hurry and go up to my father, and say to him, Your son Joseph commands this, God has caused me to be lord of the entire land of Egypt. Come down to me, do not delay. And you will live in the land of Goshen. And you will be next to me, you and your sons and the sons of your sons, your sheep and your herds, and all that you possess. And there I will pasture you, for there are still 5 years of famine remaining, lest both you and your house perish, along with all that you possess. Behold, your eyes and the eyes of my brother Benjamin can see that it is my mouth speaking to you. You will report to my father about all my glory, and about all that you have seen in Egypt. Hurry, and bring him to me. And then falling upon the neck of his brother Benjamin, he embraced him and wept. And likewise Benjamin wept at the same time on his neck. And Joseph kissed all his brothers, and he cried over each one. After this, they were emboldened to speak to him. And it was overheard, and the news spread by word throughout the king's court. The brothers of Joseph had arrived, and Pharaoh was gladdened along with all his family. And he told Joseph that he should command his brothers, saying, Burden your beasts, and go into the land of Canaan. And take from there your father and kindred, and come to me. And I will give you all the good things of Egypt, so that you may eat from the marrow of the land. And you may even instruct that they take wagons from the land of Egypt, in order to transport their little ones as well as their wives. And say, Take your father, and come quickly, as soon as possible. You need not give up anything from your household, for all the riches of Egypt will be yours. And the sons of Israel did just as they were commanded. And Joseph gave them wagons, according to the command of Pharaoh, and provisions for the journey. Likewise, he ordered 2 robes for each of them to be brought. Yet truly, to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver along with 5 of the best robes. And he sent just as much money and clothing to his father, adding also 10 male donkeys, with which to transport all the riches of Egypt, and as many female donkeys, carrying wheat and bread for the journey. Thus he sent away his brothers, and as they set out he said, Do not become angry on the way. And they ascended out of Egypt, and they arrived in the land of Canaan, to their father Jacob. And they reported to him, saying, Your son Joseph is alive, and he is ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. When Jacob heard this, he was stirred up, as if from a deep sleep, yet he did not believe them. To the contrary, they explained the entire matter in order. And when he had seen the wagons, and all that he had sent, his spirit revived. And he said, It is enough for me, if my son Joseph is still alive. I will go and see him before I die.